Let's turn to the country's midterm elections. The political world is watching Ohio and Indiana right now. Voters in those states head to the polls next week to vote in party primaries. The races are a key test of the former President Donald Trump's influence over the Republican Party and a performance review on the Biden presidency. His poll numbers show he's not doing too well. So let's talk about this. Who's running, the issues shaping these races with former Republican Congresswoman Barbara Comstock and CEO of Democracy for America Yvette Simpson. Both are ABC News contributors. Good to see you both. And Barbara, let's start on your side of the aisle there, the Republican Party, and the Ohio Senate race shaping up to be one of the most expensive Republican primaries in the country, and a really interesting one. So Trump has endorsed and campaigned for an interesting guy, J.D. Vance. He's the author of that book, Hillbilly Elegy, made into a movie. He had the doors of the establishment open to him, Yale Law School and everything like that. He's gone back to Ohio, become super Trumpy now. Do you think J.D. Vance will win this one? How do you look at this race?
Well, I mean, you're right. He was very anti-Trump. Like me, he did not vote for Trump in 2016. I can't remember if he voted in 20, but he has totally shifted his tune. And as far as I'm concerned, is a big phony. But what's going on here is Trump did decide in a multi-candidate race to come in late in the game and try and put his, finger, on the scales here, because he attacked Governor Mike DeWine, who has a challenger, a Trump-endorsed challenger, and Governor DeWine is going to win, just as Governor Kemp in Georgia is going to win, and other governors that Trump has gone against, Republican governors who are going to win. So I think they decided to make a big play with this one because you have Josh Mandel and J.D. Vance in sort of a race to the bottom with these candidates trying to claim who's more Trumpy, and Ted Cruz is involved with Mandel, and Trump Jr.'s come in. It's really an ugly race where, you could have somebody, a third or fourth candidate, kind of break through. But the undecided seem to have gone the way of J.D. Vance. But I think it will get more attention than it should. He's a reprehensible candidate, but, fortunately, people like Governor DeWine and Governor Kemp are going to prevail also. So this might be one win for Trump. I certainly hope it's not.
Well, if I could just follow up quickly on that, are you saying that you're going to see in these primary elections the Republican Party kind of putting Trump in the rearview mirror?
Well, I think in a lot of cases they are. It's just in this race, they really, I think it's Dolan come in and say, hey, I'm trying to really put him in the rearview mirror. You've had other Trumpy people really compete for that vote. And now with J.D. Vance, he's been the most craven probably. Well, it's hard to really say who's more craven when you look at him and Mandel. But, if he wins, either of them, are going to be better than maybe some of the, in terms of Tim Ryan, the Democrat, trying to beat one of them. It's tough in Ohio. It's very red now. JD, has the most sort of Trump factor, I guess, now, with his blue collar roots and all.
Well,
and he's why Trump picked him, and Peter Thiel put a lot of money behind him, and Peter Thiel is someone who gave a lot of money to Trump. So it's also, it's been battle of the grifters too. A lot of the Trump grifters are involved in a number of these races. So it's not as Trump endorsing.
Fair enough. Let me go to Yvette on the Ohio race and others. On Ohio, I just looked it up. So every incumbent, every Democrat who's won the presidency has won Ohio since Lyndon Johnson, except for Joe Biden. As Barbara just said, Ohio is now red. That is what's happening to the Democratic Party in places like that. And what races are you watching, Yvette?
Ohio has always been a bellwether for the presidency, of course, until this last election. It did not flip back to blue like Michigan or like Pennsylvania or like Wisconsin, the other bellwethers, because Trump has taken over, I think, the state of Ohio. And the Democrats here have not really done the work to engage working families and rural voters the way that they did during the Obama years. I mean, Barack Obama won Ohio twice, too. So if you think about the fact that it used to be a swing state, it is very much a red state now. now. And now, to Barbara's point, it's becoming a Trump state. The race to the bottom is correct. Every single one of these candidates on the Republican side have been pandering to Trump. It's been like the Bachelor and J.D. Vance got the rose. But really, all of them have been pandering to him. The ads have been reprehensible, racist, hateful, despicable. And unfortunately, this is my home state, a state that I served in. And we have Sherrod Brown, who has been a progressive, who has been able to win time and time again in Ohio. But unfortunately, no other Democrat has really been able to break through. And so I don't know that Democrats win this. So we're going to be stuck with the deplorables, which is the worst of the worst, unfortunately. I don't know that J.D. Vance wins just because he gets the Trump nomination. Mike Gibbons has spent a tremendous amount of money on ads and was leading the polls before the Trump endorsement. So we'll see if that changes over the next few weeks.
All right, and just quickly, Yvette, what other
over the next week? I'm sorry, the election day is next week.
That's right. So what other race are you looking at that we should look at, take a close look at?
You know, I mean, Indiana is a state that's coming up, and unfortunately it's very red. The Republican candidate in that state is largely outraised. It does not have a challenger and is largely outraged the Democrats. So we expect no matter what happens in the primaries, we probably won't pick up a seat in the Senate in Indiana, unfortunately. And as Barbara said, we don't expect much of a change statewide in Ohio. Mike DeWine actually has a lot of support on both sides of the aisle, and it's going to be really tough to beat. So I think this is the beginning of the May primaries. And the June primaries is going to be race after race. I'm going to be traveling the country for races in places like Pennsylvania, Kentucky, California has races in June. So Georgia has races in in May as well. So it's going to be a busy 4 weeks of primaries. And I think the big question, Terry, as you said, is how deep is Trump's influence on the GOP side? And can Democrats get enough energy to get turnout for any candidate on the Democratic side of the ballot during primaries?
It does seem like the enthusiasm is on the Republican side right now. We're going to have to leave it there.
Unfortunately.
The White House press briefing has begun, so we're going to go there. Yvette Simpson, Barbara Comstock, thanks very much to you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.